Hello everybody and welcome to Chris's Comics Corner, episode 13. And this week I want to talk about internet hate. So this week I want to talk about internet hating, internet trolling, and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to specifically put it in the realm of Star Wars because it's something that we all love and enjoy and watch as they come out. And this was a topic that I've been trying to get to, and it kind of came to a head this week, so I want to discuss it. And it came to a head around Star Wars specifically. But this really applies to anything. It applies to comic creators. It applies to movie makers. It applies to everybody. And at the end of this, what I really want you to take away from it is just be good to people. It's gotten out of control what we're doing on the internet. I'm not saying you can't be critical. I'm not saying you can't dislike something. These are all acceptable things. I myself have disliked things. I myself have been critical of things on our podcast, on this YouTube channel. Plenty. But I have never gone out and purposely thrown hate at somebody because they did something I didn't like. There's a difference between I didn't like Star Wars, fuck you and fuck your family, and I didn't like Star Wars because of this, that, and the other. I thought this could have been done better. I thought this plot line was a little weak. We could have done this with it. It's called constructive criticism. And trust me, creators listen to constructive criticism. They want to do better. They want to make the best product they can for you and for themselves. So seriously, we gotta look into this. So I'm gonna start. So around Star Wars, we had a few big stories come out over the past couple months, and then one that really broke this week that really made me sad in a completely different way than the other two. But I'm going to start with Ahmed Best. Ahmed Best, if you don't know, he was the guy that played Jar Jar Binks in the prequel trilogies. Now, as a giant Star Wars fan, do I like Jar Jar Binks? No, I thought the character was weak. I didn't really enjoy his plot line, and I could have done without him. That's not Ahmed Best's fault, though. Ahmed Best got a job. He saw the script. He did what he was told by the director. He did his job. That's what he was hired to do. And the same point, this is not Lucas's fault either. He does not deserve to be hated on and sent shade because of it. He was creating what he thought was best for his franchise. Now, I do believe that creators owe a certain amount to their fans to make a product that's best for them, especially when you get as gigantic and important as Star Wars. But at the end of the day, it is their franchise and their IP. So we kind of got to live with it. But Ahmed Best told this whole story about how 20 years ago, and we're talking 20 years ago, people, all the hate he got online and all the hate he got in the news, he came very close to committing suicide. Now that's sad. Never should a fan base force one of its own to think those thoughts. So have that in the back of your head. That's just disgusting and sad, and it makes me mad. And then we fast forward to recently, less than a year ago. Star Wars Last Jedi came out. It is very controversial. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people hated it. Whatever your feelings are, it came out. It did well. And there were plenty of people in that movie who got their first shot at something huge like Star Wars. The specific actress I want to talk about is Kelly Marie Tran. Now, she played a role that I admittedly said her character and her story arc were unnecessary to the story and could have done without. That said, I thought she was wonderful. I thought she did a great job, and I thought that she did the best with what she had. And it came out that she had quit Instagram because people were just tearing her apart for her role role in The Last Jedi. I'm posting one in particular here where this person goes off and says how they were responsible for this and has some stupid hashtag with some ridiculous meme attached to it. I am purposely covering over the person's name because I don't want them to get any extra attention. I just want to point out that you're reading this. This is not good. You should not be proud of this kind of thing. We have to be better. This is just, it's out of control. This woman got a role in Star Wars. It is a career-defining role, and it should have been something that made her life so much better. And this translates over to this week, where director Christopher McQuarrie, who was the director for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, is probably his biggest movie that we know of. Very talented director, somebody who was a huge Star Wars fan and wanted to do a Star Wars movie. He came out this week and said he is, and I quote, cured of ever wanting to do a Star Wars movie. Because of why? Because of us, because of the fans, because we are so awful to the people that create this stuff that he doesn't want any part of it. That's another amazingly talented director that wants nothing to do with Star Wars. Think about that. If we keep acting like this, the best of the best don't want anything to do with it. They don't want to be involved. Why do we want that? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I guess I'm pointing these things out to say, we as a community, as comic lovers, as Star Wars lovers, as pop culture lovers, everything that we love, we need to be better. I know it's hard, and I know there's times where you're angry and you just want to shout at something, and Twitter's a great place to do that because it's anonymous, you get your thought out, and it's gone. You don't think about it, and you move on with your day. But the thing is you moved on with your day. The person you shouted at, the person you called an idiot, the person you said was fucked, these things, that person now has to read that, live with that, and then you times that by thousands of people who are doing this. It's not good. I have no problem with somebody who would have told Kelly Marie Tran the things that I said, that, you know, you were wonderful in it, but what do you think of this plot line, the side story that you were involved with? You know, the Canto Bright scene maybe wasn't necessary. It seemed like a sidetrack and blah, blah, blah. Those things, I'm sure she's fine with answering and she's fine with taking. They're part of the job. That's a logical thing to discuss. But to tell her that she's this and that and try to force her off of social media just because you didn't like the movie, you're an asshole. That's all I gotta say about that. And honestly, I don't care if this gets me hate, if the trolls out there want to come out and say like, well, this is our blah, 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 blah. I don't fucking care. You're an asshole. And you need to stop. You're making us all look bad. Personally, here, we have a very small community, and it's growing, but people like this, I don't want you involved. It might be wrong to say, you know, we're trying to build something here, but those are the people that just don't deserve to be involved with something good and wonderful, and just, it makes me mad. So those are just my thoughts on this. I really wanted to throw this out there, and I hope that a lot of you agree with me. And just to point out the fact that, and I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, nobody's perfect, we all have our moments, but we just as a community need to try to be better. And that's really what I want you to go home with tonight. So everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Let me know how I'm doing here. Comment below. Let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are your thoughts on all these things that are happening? And what are some ideas we can throw out there to try to be better, to do things that make people want to come back to this community? Let me know down below so that we can promote these things. And hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying what we're doing. You'll keep up with everything that's going on here at Forge Comic News, from this show to the the top 5 to the podcast, to everything else we do in the future, hit that subscribe button. You'll be on top of all that. And as always here at Sports Comic News, keep on watching that Star Wars.